Yeah, she yelled, so they went to check on her. All right. I have no idea. I mean, you guys can't really see it in this, but like this setup doesn't change. Like the cabling and everything's here. Like I just hook the camera into it and hook up the wire, you know. So I'm not really sure what's going on here, but it's got to be like the software or my computer or something. I mean, it could be YouTube, I guess, but so yeah. Sorry, we don't normally have that many issues. Um, I guess after this live stream, I'm gonna have to do some testing for sure. So, as the entourage comes on back down. Oh, you come back now? You heard it was working? Well, come on. You getting up here, Hammy? I wouldn't be surprised if Lotus did it. He's been a wreck this last hour or so prior to the live stream because we got like a brief storm for like 2 minutes and he just went into meltdown mode. The rescue remedy's been working really good, but there just really wasn't a whole lot of prep for that. Excuse you. Excuse you. So, anyways, there's a ton of comments mostly having to do with you sound like a robot, we can't hear you, the camera's off. So I'm not gonna try to go through too much of that. But yeah, sorry about all that. Okay, so in the last live stream, somebody suggested that they would like to do like just some puppy stuff again. So I thought, you know what, rather than having like an agenda or anything, we're just gonna kind of base this on your kind of Q&A for puppies and you know, whatever questions you might have just around the breed, around the pups, around us, whatever. You know, I have obviously things I can talk about, but I figured we'd start with, you know, just the general questions and everything. If you guys don't know, Riley's in the chat. He is the one with the, he lights up blue on my screen. I don't know if he does that on yours or not, but he's the moderator. So if you get kicked out or have any issues, it's his fault. And if he answers your question, he's like a Wikipedia for us. You know, he knows if he tells you an answer to our question, like you can bet that it's the correct answer. What are we gonna do, pup? It's just a mess. It's just a whole mess. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Got hair everywhere now. So let's see what we got here. I gave you guys a few minutes to kind of catch up on the chat. I'm sorry if I missed like any welcomes or anything like that. Lotus tilt their head in different directions. That's funny. Really? This is where you need to be? See, he's doing a lot better, but when he's like this, it's like I need to be as close to you as possible at all times, no matter what. I mean, he was here a minute ago, and I got up prior to the live stream to mess with that camera, and he was like, wait, I have to go with you. So, yes. Let's see, where are we at here? Say hi to Enzo and Lotus from Nathaniel. How is Rescue Remedy for working for Lotus? It just updated. Samantha said that. So yeah, I mean, it's still working well. I'm still really happy with it. It's just we weren't really prepared for that. And I mean, it's not like he doesn't have any issues. I will say that we had a huge storm 2 or 3 nights ago. Started around like, I mean, it basically it basically rained from like 7, 8 o'clock in the evening. This was Friday, 7, 8 o'clock in the evening until like 10 a.m. the next morning. And it got really bad, especially in the middle of the night. But even before that, like it was thunder and lightning and everything. And, you know, he wasn't like thrilled about it, but he wasn't shaking. That was the big thing. Like he was laying down. He had his moments, but for the most part, he was great. In the middle of the night when it got really bad, I let him get up in the bed with us. When he gets that scared, he'll like get up at the top of the bed in between us. I think he feels safe there. And, you know, he was awake, i.e. I didn't sleep much, but I could tell he wasn't really shaking. So that was, like, that's just a huge improvement. It bothers me when he's shaking like that. So, long answer short is that, yes, so far so good. Let's see. Where are we at? Looks like Riley got those about the weight, something about kilograms. No idea what that means. Should I get a 6 or 7 week old puppy? I wouldn't get him that young. Ideally, I mean, you definitely don't want to do before 8, but ideally like 10 or 12 weeks is honestly better. Riley just noticed the pride sign. Yep, have the energies. How tall are the pups on 2 feet? No idea. Tall enough to scratch the window on the car, I found out, for Lotus. Enzo is probably, I bet if he like went back on his back paws, I bet he could put his paws on my shoulders. So, oh hey Riley, where are you? Are you gonna relax at all, pup? This is the other thing he does, and I have to remind him to relax. Come on, come here. How about you get up here? Come on. And it's like he like forgets that he can relax or something. So I try to get him to lay down. If I can get him to lay down, that'll help a lot. See, he wants to sit, but if I don't force him, but if I can get him to lay down, he'll get way more comfortable during a storm and might even go to sleep. Don't you be agitating. You threw up on both couches. Mad at you. Let's see. Yeah, mad at you. Really? Let's see. We rained weather yesterday and probably getting it today. Yep. How long would it usually take to teach them to walk off leash on hikes and stuff? So the teach them to walk off leash doesn't take very long, just like it doesn't take them very long to learn to sit or to do really many other things. The trick there is how long does it take them to be able to do it with distractions? And the answer to that question is a while. I went months and months and months before I trusted Enzo without a leash, even when he was trained to walk off leash, unless I just was 100% certain that there was just nobody around, because I didn't know how he was going to respond to distractions that I couldn't predict. Oh, the lights are flashing. Hopefully not in the office this time. I think I fixed that, but I told the wifey, I was like, I fixed it so the super chats won't flash the lights in your office anymore, because that was awkward for her at work. But I didn't have a way to test it, so... Oh, Ava and Nitro say hi. Say hi to Mark. Say hi to Ava and Nitro. Oh, let's see. I know, I see you, Riley. I know. Cats matter. Matter the most. We know. Put them on there. She starts licking it. Let's see. Hi, please say hi to Enzo for me. He's down here. You can't see him. What's the best toy to stimulate your puppy, Jaden? So, it depends on the puppy and it depends on their mood, which is why you kind of got to just try different things. You know, Enzo loves glow ball, but Lotus loves fetch, but otherwise he doesn't generally like go around chewing on a ball. He's much more likely to get like a toy or possibly frisbee. Now, we don't usually let them take like the glow balls and stuff upstairs, so if we're upstairs then Enzo will get a stuffed toy as well. But like down here where we have both, he's almost always going to take a glow ball over a stuffed toy, where Lotus almost will never take a ball unless we're playing fetch. Let's see. Let's see. Enzo inspired my owner to get me. Hopefully it works out. We don't want to get the blame for that, buddy. Any puppy food recommendations for German Shepherd with fast metabolism? I mean, I'm pretty sure they all have fast metabolism. That recommended Hill Science or Rural Canyon, but I've heard bad reviews with that brand. I mean, we used Royal Canin when we first got Enzo before switching to Gentle Giants. With Lotus, he had Gentle Giants from the beginning. So I mean, that's what we use. I mean, at various times we've had other diets for, you know, medical reasons, or, you know, the vet has them on something for a few weeks or something. But generally, that's, you know, there's so much misinformation out there regarding diets for humans, let alone dogs, that it's really hard to know what to trust. I wish I could, like, I can only tell you what we've used. I can't tell you, like, if it's the best. It's just what, you know, what we've done research on and what we found and what we use. Now, we are using, like, right now, temporarily, we're using, like, a low-fat diet for Enzo. I don't know if we're going to stick with that or not, which is why I haven't brought it up at any point yet. We did slowly move Lotus to it, too. Basically, we want to see if he can actually get his weight down any. And he's about due to go in and get weighed, so we'll see if it's been making any difference. We've been doing it for a couple months. Lotus, we're not obviously worried. It was just more of a convenience thing with Lotus. Oh, lights are flashing again, boys. Got the super chats and rally and girls. Let's see. My grandma's German Shepherd is a big dog and barks all day and night. What does that mean? From Jakari. I mean, if you literally mean like they bark nonstop, then it could just be they have like pent up energy and such. But generally, they bark for a reason. It's just a matter of understanding what that reason is. I am Speed. How old were the pups when you began the canine off-leash training? Lotus was 5.5 because that's the youngest. Enzo was, I don't know, maybe like a year and a half or something. Enzo to pup 199. He blames you guys 100%. That's funny. That was in response to him, Enzo being the reason for them getting him. How old is Lotus? He will be turning 3 in just a few days, actually. It's Thursday. What would you recommend for a 12-week puppy? We're doing a lot of socialization that is safe because he isn't fully vaccinated. What would you recommend? So this is, I mean, I think you probably need to be a little bit more specific in the question, Jessica. I mean, I could talk for hours on everything you need as a puppy, but I don't know if there's like something specific you look for. What I can say is that I've been noticing a lot of questions lately with, I think people, it seems to be one of two camps. Either they message us and say that, look, my pup is whatever weeks old and they already know all these things, which is good. But just remember that just because they know how to sit doesn't mean they're going to sit when there's, you know, squirrel or something. Like, that comes with a lot of patience and training and such. But then I get the opposite where people are messaging me and going, you know, I'm doing all these different things and I can't get them to stay focused and they keep getting distracted, and then at the end they'll be like, oh, by the way, they're 9 weeks old. And it's like, well, they're 9 weeks old. They have the attention span of a moth. You know, sometimes you're just expecting too much. So I wouldn't worry too much. Like I said, even with Lotus, I mean, we did the basics. You know, he knew the basics, like sit and stuff. But honestly, I didn't even worry about it too much for the first few months, like actual training, because they're just kind of too young to really. They're never too old to learn it, but they are too young for it to really be practical. So I just wasn't something I was hugely concerned for the first few months. Let's see. KJC, I lost my puppy's toy today, and I think he is not happy about that. Yeah, I bet. Enzo comes to me if he can't find Global. Let's see. Looks like Riley's already getting some of these. Okay. 18 months. Let's see. I'm sorry. I don't know how to say the name, but my German Shepherd muzzle isn't too long at 18 months. I assume you mean like their face. Can I expect it to grow a little bit more? So I think they can technically grow up to like 2 years, but they generally stop around a year. Oh no, we gotta turn the air off, boys. I forgot. It's always something. Sorry about that. That'll probably take a second. Is it common for German Shepherd puppies to lay on their belly to drink water? From Taylor. Yeah, I mean, especially like little puppies. Yeah, they'll do all sorts of weird things. 30, Riley, 32 kilograms equals about 70 pounds. There you go. I'm not even sure why the small screen is on. Let's see. So, just in case any of you coming in late and aren't like up to the live part, we had a ton of issues in the beginning, so you may have to fast forward for the first several minutes. Let's see. Yes, Riley got that one. Nisha is working upstairs. How big do German Shepherds get? It depends. You know, typical is, 60 to 80 pounds, but they can obviously go lower and higher depending. Sorry, do not know anything about pit bulls. Let's see. Enzo the pup. How much attitude did Enzo and Lotus have? 4 to 6 months old year-old pup. I got a bunch. How much attitude? I don't know. Probably about the same as now, just in a slightly smaller package that could be managed a little bit better. It's nice when you can just literally just pick them up. Can't really do that now. Let's see. My German Shepherd puppy bites the brush every time I brush him. Do you have any tips to get him to stop? And yes, I have given him a variety of things to chew on, but all he wants is the brush. I would say 2 things to that. One, keep trying till you find something they like better than the brush, because I'm sure there's something out there. For us, we typically use antlers. And, I mean, that's just kind of a normal behavior. I mean, even Enzo will kind of, and Lotus will kind of do that if I just get the brush out and stuff, but it just kind of depends on their mood. And a lot of times they just kind of got to get used to it, get used to ignoring it. Let's see, Megan, I'm getting a German Shepherd in 2 weeks. I have a Roomba and a Dyson ready. Do you use the lint rollers a lot on clothes, or do you use anything in the washer or dryer to catch hair? I mean, we have lint rollers. It's kind of one of those things that, when you first get them, so they're not going to shed for the first several months, but it's one of those things that it's like, you can win a lot of battles, but you're going to lose the war. And after a while, you're just like, you know what? I'm just going to like brush it off and do the best I can. I mean, if I'm wearing like black or going somewhere nice, obviously, I don't stress over it too much, because it's just everywhere. As far as the washer and dryer, now just the normal lint trap. Let's see. Enlightened Beauty, just wanted to say that this is awesome and a shout out to you for sharing your experience and knowledge. You are welcome. Let's see. How old are the pups when I already answered that one. The off-leash, 5.5 months you can start. She looks like she wants to jump on the computer from Goth Fairy. I assume you mean Rally, and yeah, I wouldn't put it past her. She probably wants to get on my lap is what she wants. Now she's doing the whole, like, I'm not going to look at you. I'll just ignore you. Let's see. Somebody left It's against a name I can't say. It might be in like Arabic or something. I'm not really sure what language that is, or Russian. I should just stop guessing. I don't know. My dog doesn't poop outside. What should I do? You're not gonna like the answer, but wait till they do. You know, that's one that comes up on occasion. People like, you know, hey, I was outside for 30 minutes or an hour and they didn't go, and then we come inside and they went immediately in the house. Yeah, I mean, you kind of just gotta wait that out. You know, that, you know, there's some reason why they're not feeling comfortable outside. What that is, I don't know, but they feel safer going. It's probably more of a safety, like they feel safer going inside. So you got to get them to a point where they just overcome that, and a lot of that is just waiting. You know, I'm sure it's in a vlog. I know it is. It's like about a year ago from now. It was last 4th of July. Lotus would not go to the bathroom because of the fireworks. And it took me, I mean, you got to think, Lotus was 2 years old at the time. It took me over 2 hours, I think, to get him to go to the bathroom, which included me walking him all around our yard, walking down the street, and eventually getting him in, taking him in the car and driving down the road to somewhere else. I think where he felt compelled to, you know, leave his mark, and there wasn't any booms for a few seconds, and he still wasn't happy, but he did it and got right back in the car, and it's like, great, now we can go in, we can go to bed, and, you know, move on with our night. But it's one of those things, like, you're just going to have to, it may just take a lot longer than you want it to take. More Rally cat vlogs. What you think, Rally? Her hair's growing back, though. Hey, don't be clawing the couch. Jeez. You're welcome, Jaden, for answering your question. Haley said Hills is horrible. I don't know what that means. Let's see. A lot of comments about Rally. Got Jung Cookie. Do you put any additives in Lotus and Enzo's food? We put supplements in it. We put a Desiquin and fish oil, both of which are linked below in the video. If you go to the Amazon store and then go under food and supplements, they get that each day, and then they get their heartworm pill once a month. Mark, how much sleep can you expect to get with a German Shepherd pup? None. It's not bath time. You're gonna get us demonetized over there. What are you doing? Jeez. Any way to put the pup cam on Enzo? Maybe. It's all messed up right now because I had to keep moving everything around. Let's see. So I ended up just turning it off. Don't think it's gonna. Just snoozing down there. Oh, I think he saw himself. Where'd Rally go? Okay, she's gone. All right. Let's see. Are you coming back? You want back up here? Getting back up here? You feeling better? Yeah. Storm's gone. Did you get it? Get that bug? Oh, let's see. My aunt has 3 German Shepherds and they are so well behaved. I wish I could say the same. I am Speed. Let's see. Looks like Riley already answered your question, Edel. Yeah, I mean, basically you just got to ignore them. If they, that's one of the hardest things with crate training, that they're just going to cry. They may cry for, I know Enzo cried for about a half hour. Lotus cried for, I feel like, longer. But it's, it's kind of like the same thing. A lot of this stuff is just time. A lot of it's just, there's not like a secret or a trick. It's just time. Really? We're going in the corner? Got the scaredies? KM, I have a 7-month-old German Shepherd and she keeps biting me, but biting my hand. Or biting me hard. So there is a, dang it, I said I was going to have it prepared this time. There is a good video, I'll look it up real quick, that we did with Robert Cabral, where he gives a really good explanation for, why they're biting and different things. And once you kind of understand why they do what they're doing, one, it'll help you, but also I think when you just realize like why they're doing it, then it's not like it's big of a deal. I think you'll realize that most of the time they will grow out of it eventually, and some things you can kind of do to make that better. Let's see. There's the link to that video. Did your pups play with their water bowl? If so, how did you prevent it? Yes, and like in the house, you kind of just got to watch them. It's like saying, like, how do you prevent a baby from spilling their food? You pretty much just watch them and stop it when it's happening. It's one of those things that they'll pick up on it with time. Let's see, Nicole, thank you for inspiring me to get my now 6-month-old German Shepherd Gunner, who is now in training to be my new service dog. Well, glad it helped, Nicole. You gonna get up here or not? You need to just get up here and relax. Come on. Just get up here and relax. Yeah. Now lay down. There you go. Yeah, just relax. It'll be fine. Yeah, it'll be okay. Let's see. Chris 501. What's the best tips on bringing home a new German Shepherd puppy, 11 weeks old? This kind of falls into what somebody asked earlier. It's a really broad question, so I think, I could definitely tell you that we have a video. It's about 30 minutes long that kind of goes over like the gauntlet of everything. But if you have like specifics, like, if it's the car ride, or if it's, that day one type stuff, or if it's, if there's something more specific other than me just kind of like rambling on for 30 minutes, which I don't think anybody wants me to do that. Let's see, I think we got some autocorrect issues here on somebody. I think, how did you train Enzo and Lotus to walk beside you in public places without a leash? So, Joy, that has to do with training, first of all, and then just distractions, Like I said, it's real easy to teach it, and if I wanted to walk around in our basement with them doing it, they could do it perfectly from day one for the rest of their lives. But if you want to be able to actually go out where there's things that are going to distract them, It just takes a lot of time and a lot of patience. And there's still plenty of times where I have them on leashes for their safety or just to make other people feel better, or just because you just never know. You know, for example, I'm not going to walk them off a leash downtown. I used to. I won't do that anymore. I learned my lesson with that. When there was a noise that was like, I don't know what the noise, it kind of reminds you like I think it was 4th of July weekend, and like somebody set off like an M80 or something, and Enzo jumped. And he got right back in line, but it made me realize that, you know, you just never know what's going to happen. So, and we were out on a public sidewalk near a road. So from that point on, I was like, you know, anytime we're near a road or something, like, I'm just going to have him on a leash. Let's see. Sarah Tara Havoc is at my feet right now. Let's see. Somebody else asked about the biting. Definitely see that video that I put in the comments a moment ago. Sarah, they are 3 and 5. And dude, Michael, that's perfectly fine. You can just hang out and see the pups. No sense in getting one if you're not ready. Let's see. Joy, I'm getting my German Shepherd puppy in 2 or 3 weeks. Any beginner tips? So once again, like, I'm perfectly happy to answer any questions, but maybe be a little bit more specific. I do have like a 30-minute video that goes over like just an exhaustive list, and I've got some other videos as well. But if you have like some specific questions or anything, let's see. Michelle, our boy is 10 months old and likes to bite, especially women in the household. What can we do to stop it? So I may have got confused a minute ago when I said the beginner tips video was linked below. I don't know if I said that. It's not. That's on the channel, but the biting is. So that's the one I just put in the notes. So definitely watch the part with Robert explaining why they bite and everything. Let's see, Rashi, hi there. I had a German Shepherd. She was 45 days old and unfortunately passed away. I'm sorry. Vet says she had a cardiac arrest. Can you give me on how that happened? Can you guide me on how this happened if you know anything about it? I mean, I feel like if a puppy has a cardiac event like that at that young, there's probably not much you could have done about it. I don't know if there was, you know, that's rough. I don't really have any like tips on that, unfortunately, but that's really, really rough. Because I know, like, for us, like, I always see breeders that offer like warranties, like if they have any issues you can bring them back. And while I understand the sentiment behind that, you know, it makes people feel good and stuff, it's like, you know, even if I take them home and realize that day that they have some massive health issue that's going to rear its head in 5 or 10 years, that's like, I'm already committed at that point. Like, I just, so to be 45 days in like you, like, that's rough. Talia, what's your favorite game to play with Lotus and Enzo when they're puppies to tire them out? Anything. Enzo's morning routine when he was a pup is we would walk or jog to the end of the street and back, which was like the equivalent of not even a block. And he'd come back in and like pass out or whatever. I mean, when they're that young, when they're just a few months old, I mean, it doesn't take much. They sleep most of the day. It really doesn't take but like 10 or 15 minutes of exercise and they're wiped out again. Let's see. Hyro the German Shepherd. Any good food bowls for messy eaters and drinkers? We have a 1-year-old German Shepherd and he's super messy eater and drinker and loves to knock his bowls over with his paw, which makes a super big mess. Lotus today, when hearing Charlie outside, ran past Enzo's bowl and knocked it all the way across the living room. the entire bowl. I just set it down. Um, you know, if they're playing with it and stuff, honestly, I would probably start monitoring. I'd probably just hang out with them while they eat. I mean, we don't leave food down for very long anyways, unless there's some weird circumstance. You know, I put it down in 10, 15 minutes. If they don't show any interest in it, I just take it back up. So, you know, sit down with the food for 10 or 15 minutes and just kind of monitor them. And, you know, in my experience, they both will want to play with their food and water and stuff at that age, or, you know, puppies especially. And it's not really, I think you have to train out of them in the sense that, like, you have to do proper training so much as just don't let them do it anymore. And if that means literally sitting there and holding the bowl still or whatever, then that's maybe what it takes. Let's see. Do either one of the pups have their dew claws? They both do. Did you need to teach them not to claw, chew on furniture, or enough exercise? Is definitely an autocorrect issue there. But I think what you're saying is if that's enough already or something. We didn't have any issues like that. You know, one of the things I always tell people is when you've got a puppy, they're going to chew. It's just a matter of what are they going to chew on. So give them plenty of options of things that you are okay with them chewing on, which is why, like, for puppies, I always suggest getting like a bone, like a harder toy, kind of like a bone, or it doesn't matter what it is. We would get like a little ropey, so it's harder, but it's a little bit softer. We'd get a couple plush toys, you know, just a wide variety, because for whatever reason, certain things they're going to like more than others. And if you don't get that one thing that they just love, like for Enzo, it was this little orange bone. I bet we still have it. I see it every once in a while. I haven't seen it in a while, but it's probably still under there. Lotus had no interest in that thing. We had him one, and he was just like, nah. But I forget what Enzo's or Lotus's big chew toy was. I bet if I go back and watch the video where I talk about this stuff, I probably knew. I can't think of it offhand. I think it was the rattle, actually. It was like this little rattle thing. But, you know, they're all going to have that thing they like. But if you don't leave them something that they like, they're going to find something that they do like. And that's going to be your furniture or your shoes or the remote or whatever. Any puppy is like a newborn, yes. Nicole Black, what is your opinion on the raw diet? So, this kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. I'm not against it by any means. I don't necessarily think it's like the holy grail that it's portrayed to be either. I think that's more of just, you know, if you want to do that and you prefer it, like, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But it's just like a lot of dietary issues. There's not really any like conclusive evidence that says like this is better or this is better. I mean, there's lots of sources that will tell you one is the better or the other, but there's no, like, I have not been able to find like legitimate long-term scientific data, because frankly most of that stuff doesn't even exist for humans. So the fact that some of these people say that that they've figured out that it's better for dogs to do one or the other, I find hard to believe. You know, as long as we still think the food pyramid is correct and dairy should be on there and some other things, like, I think them figuring out dogs is way down on the priority list. So whatever you think based on what you research, I think is fine. Let's see. I don't know where it went, but somebody asked why they're sleeping. We did go to the park this morning, and then Lotus is sleeping because it stormed for 5 minutes, and then he went to meltdown for like an hour, so he hasn't gotten any rest. So yeah, that's why they're sleeping. Yes, Lotus will definitely fight the sleeplessness all the time. That's why I have to like remind him to lay down. Is chicken feet good for growth? I have no idea. Have you had any German Shepherds into their senior years? No. Enzo was our first, Lotus was our second. So no, we have not had any older ones. Did you have a good weekend? What did we do this? Oh, it was Father's Day. So yeah, I mean, spent a little time with some family and stuff. Let's see. I had my German Shepherd off leash and right at my side in the forest preserve, and some lady yelled at me for my well-behaved German Shepherd. Sarah, yeah, I've had people yell at me from across the from 50, 100 yards away. One lady yelled at me from inside a fence. She was like on the other side of a fence and was yelling that she was afraid. It's like, you're on another side of a fence, first of all. I don't know. Some people are crazy. Cheryl, Will, do you have a favorite one, or are they equal? It's never going to get answered. Let's see. Docs, that's probably not said right. My German Shepherd seems lonely. What breed would be the best fit for him as a brother? I don't know. I would say you'd probably, depending on their age, you'd want somebody that's going to have another pup that's going to have a similar type of, energy type of, you don't want one breed that's high energy and young and getting another breed that's not high energy and such, like I probably wouldn't get like a bulldog, for example, like probably not going to be the best fit. Especially if like you're going out places and doing stuff, but it just depends on your lifestyle and everything. You can make anything work if you wanted to. And if Enzo was awake, he would tell you that's how he got tricked into getting Lotus. Wifey thought, oh, he's lonely, he needs a friend. Linda, sorry if this comment was mentioned earlier, but I loved your hike with the boys when Lotus was wearing the GoPro. Anyone else agree? Fun with Lotus because he's all over the place. So, oddly enough, that's the second time I've made a video like that where basically I filmed our whole hike. And the first one I never uploaded. And this one I wasn't actually intending to do that. I had brought the GoPro for just to kind of get some B-roll and just to film stuff, and I put it on him and I hit record, and I kind of forgot about it because if you saw that, like I was doing some other stuff in the background, so I kind of forgot it was recording. And by the time I realized, I was like, well, we'll just let it record the whole time. And so I uploaded it, but while the comments, everybody who watched it in comments seems to love it, generally speaking, it doesn't get that many views and everything. So, I mean, it's not a video that's particularly hard for me to make. I mean, mostly Lotus doing the work there. I just put the footage in the Premiere and just make sure there's nothing glitchy about it or anything, and then render it and upload it. So I mean, it's not like super hard on my part, but if it doesn't get many views, and like YouTube's weird with the algorithm, so like I'm not opposed to those videos. They're real easy to make, but if they don't get a lot of views and people aren't really interested in them, then it may not be something I do too often. Anchor in a week. How many times can you give meat to a dog? I don't know if you mean like if you're doing raw diet, in which case I have no idea. I don't know anything about the raw diet, like how much you should be giving. If you're talking about like table scraps, we don't do that, so I'm not really sure. Gio Melendez, I'm trying to decide if I should get a German Shepherd, but I wanted to know what your experience was with your first and what made you want to get a German Shepherd. Nisha wanted a dog, and she wanted a German Shepherd, so we got a dog that was a German Shepherd. That was what made us get a German Shepherd. And so the pup, I slept for 18 hours a day the first 2 months. Yep, that's pretty much accurate. Lady Dark Sky, how did you get Enzo and Lotus to stop puppy biting? So, in case you weren't here for it, if you scroll up in the chat some, there's a video link. It's an interview I did with Robert Cabral. He does a really good job of answering all the biting questions you could possibly have. Let's see, Sandra, my German Shepherd Lucy is a reactive dog just like Lotus. If you breed two, will you get an ultra cool or ultra reactive? No idea. Probably wouldn't suggest finding out though. Let's see. Nicole Black, what toys do you stay away from and why? I don't know that we really have anything that we stay away from as far as like toys. It's just kind of whatever. I'm going to be completely honest. You all are crazy and you guys send them so many toys that, I mean, she still goes out like for their birthdays and buys them stuff or whatever, but like we don't even buy that many toys anymore because it's just the amount of toys that you guys send us. I mean, we got like half a dozen dinosaurs the other day, and it's like, it's hard for us to go out and buy them toys when it's like they have so many. And then somebody sent us a gift card to PetSmart, so we're gonna go in there, and I don't know what we're gonna get. I'm sure we'll just let them pick something out. It's whatever. I mean, it's like it's not that we don't buy them toys. It's that it's not a super like priority, like, oh, they need a new toy because there's a good, and that's the other thing, they don't wear them out, partly because Enzo has never been the type to wear out toys. Lotus has taken a couple years off Wooly and stuff, you know, we've had a few die because of Lotus, but very few, and I think a lot of that too is just, even without YouTube, we had so many toys for them. So I wouldn't really say that we specifically stay away from any one thing or not. Plush toys, it's just kind of whatever Nisha likes, and lots of glow balls. Alexis, the green dino, yes. We have, I'm looking at 2 of them right now. Mark, Will, isn't it best to wait until the pup is 8 weeks to take home? Yeah, at least 8 weeks. 10 or 12 would be even better. Let's see, Alexis commenting on she's seen benefits from the raw diet. Yeah, I mean, I hear lots of people that have great experiences with it. Let's see. LJC, my wife and I have adopted 2 German Shepherds since watching your videos. That's awesome. Juno adopted at 8 weeks. That's now, and there's now 2. Maybe by adopted you mean like you just got one. I'm not really sure, but either way. And Rolo adopted at 2 years old, now 3. Thank you so much. You are very welcome. Glad you are adopting. Gloria, what can I do to help with the jumping? Looks like Riley already kind of got on that. Yeah. Yep, Riley said it perfect. Just guide them back down into a sit gently and make them relax and calm down and just not show any attention to it. see. Sorry, name I can't pronounce. Has Lotus not been socialized very well? Is that why he's anxious? I wish that was the answer. No, Lotus has issues from birth or from the first few weeks of his life. I'm not sure what happened. Lights are flashing. You boys got no. You guys are asleep. You don't even notice. You guys got another super chat. Happy upcoming birthday, Lotus. Hope it's a great one. Hugs and kisses. Don't party too hard. I'll tell him when he wakes up. Let's see. Jada, how do you socialize them with other dogs so they are friendly with other dogs? I want to have two, but not wanting to get two pups at the same time. How do you get them to be okay around other dogs? Once they've had all their shots, you can do socializing. What I would not do is take them to a dog park and let them loose. What I would do is hopefully find somebody who you can trust, who has a dog that you know is well-tempered, and start there. If you can't, it's really the best thing you can do is, have both dogs on a leash. So that way, if you need to pull them back, because, when they're that young, it doesn't take much for them to be traumatized. So you don't want them to like get attacked or anything. I mean, it's not to say they can't overcome that, because that actually did happen to Enzo when he was really young, and he's fine. He has no issues about it or anything. But for us, we did it with neighbor dogs, and one failed attempt at the dog park, and then from that point on, it was, my sister had a couple dogs that he got to be around. Like I said, our neighbors. At that time, we went to kind of the local park more frequently. That we didn't really go to a lot of different parks early on, so we kind of got to know some other people and their dogs, and he was able to interact. And honestly, some dogs are just better at it to begin with. I think with Enzo's personality, we could have been really lazy about it, and he still would have been okay. I'm not saying to do that. He's just extremely chilled and laid back, which isn't a typical. He's atypical. He's not the typical what you expect from a German Shepherd. But yeah, I mean, it's just really controlled interactions. Some of you guys are so good about answering each other's questions that then I get confused on which ones I'm supposed to be reading. Christine, yes, we did get the package from the post office. It's actually sitting right there. I have not opened it yet because, as you all know, wifey likes to do mail time. I think I got it Friday or Saturday. I got it, and I need her. Maybe I'll have her do it, because by the time this gets over, it'll be closer to getting off work. I'll probably have hers all set up, although apparently the audio is not working. But I'll have her come down and open it so I can film it and get it up in one of the vlogs over the next week. What is your preferred dog food? I went over this earlier in the live stream, but the one that we've used the most is Gentle Giants. What's the address to send pup stuff? The P.O. box is listed below. You would think I would know it offhand, but I really don't. Actually, I don't even know if it's listed below anymore. I don't even know if I put it in the... I used to put it in the video notes. I don't even think I do that anymore. But it's always under the About section on YouTube. Yeah, considering I apparently don't put it into videos and I don't really ever talk about it, the pups still seem to get a lot of stuff. I just put it in the chat though, although that was a terrible formatting. Oh my gosh, seriously. And it just did it again. Alright, the last one's a little bit better. Jeez. Riley, lucky you, Will. Miles is a wrecking ball when it comes to soft toys. That's funny. But you got him a little brother, so you can take it out on him now. Let's see. It looks like Riley already answered this, but LA a lot. How often do you need to exercise your dog? You know, what Riley said is 100% correct. And I will add to that basically that, you know, we prefer to do it at least once a day. And then we'll usually go out back and kind of hang out for a little bit. But every pup's different, you know, and like Lotus, he doesn't necessarily require as much. He also goes like full tilt every time. I mean, like you saw on the GoPro, like when he exercises, like he gets his money's worth. Enzo has FOMO, and he actually does need, like if he doesn't get exercise for a day or two, like for some reason, like if we have to skip a day, like if there's really bad weather or whatever, he does not do as well. He does a little bit better now, but like when he was like 1, 2, 3 years old, oh my gosh, like I almost never skipped a day with him. I mean, didn't matter if it was raining, we'd go like, I mean, we had things for everything. If it was raining, like we were still gonna go, and we would just try to go places to minimize getting wet. That's where we would, a lot of times we would go to like Lowe's, or we'd go downtown and like the skywalks and stuff, basically places we could walk indoors just to kind of burn that off. And just, there's some older videos where you see us like going across the bridges and stuff, because this is before I knew all the different parks. So I try to find places where they wouldn't necessarily get covered in mud and we can just kind of go for a walk. But yeah, I mean, it's really kind of how much do they need, but expect a lot. You know, I don't know what the response for Sarah's answer here about checking your local Petco, but that reminded me of something funny, and that is somebody commented on one of the recent videos where we did a mail time. So if you're watching this live stream, you probably have watched a few YouTube videos in your day, so you probably understand mail time and all that stuff. But I guess I could understand, like, if you're like completely new to YouTube, like when we do mail time, I don't like sit down and say like, here's packages from subscribers that have sent us to our PO box. It's really just like the wifey just like cuts to the scene of the wifey opening it and stuff, and the pups getting to see it. I don't really like break down what's happening, because I guess I just assume everybody knows. And this person in the comments like went on a tangent about how awful whatever the box came from, I think it was Petco, and saying that they are, I don't know, I don't remember why they were bad or what it had to do with. I have no idea, but it was just funny to me that, like, I guess they thought that we ordered stuff from Petco and then we're just randomly filming ourselves opening it and showing it to the pups or something, like it was like a summer Christmas morning or something. Like, I don't know what they thought it was, but it was just really funny, because they're like, you could tell they were really upset that we shopped at Petco, and it's like, that's not what mail time is. Like, and to be honest, that could have came from anywhere. I mean, sometimes people send stuff directly, sometimes they just use whatever box, so it was just really funny that they clearly didn't understand that. Let's see, Alexis, I stopped taking my German Shepherd to the park because we were trying to get him used to being around our dogs, and he was attacked and chased by like 5 dogs. Yeah, I mean, that stuff does happen, and you know, I don't, you know, I know I did like the vlog a couple weeks ago with Enzo and I going to the dog park, And what you don't often see in that type of stuff is me sitting in my car and just kind of watching for a while, and then Enzo and I kind of walking around the dog park and just really just kind of getting a feel for the place, the other dogs, more importantly, the other humans, and how much attention they're paying. You know, I don't like when we go to a dog park and all the humans are just like on their phones and not paying attention and such. So, you know, that time in the video we went in, but there's been other times where we show up and we just don't go in. Yeah, Enzo is very laid back too. Try to leave him. Yeah, pretty much. Ariana, I think that's how you said Ariana. I'm looking to get a German Shepherd puppy. Where can I start looking for a good breeder? So I don't necessarily know where to start looking for a good breeder. What I can tell you is that if you search breeder on our site, Nisha goes over a list of like all the questions you should be asking. We do have a very small list of breeders that we've learned about throughout the country. I mean, it's really small, and the odds of it being anywhere near you is pretty much zero. But if you want to DM us on Instagram and ask us, you know, tell us kind of where you're at or whatever, we can tell you if we know one in that area. It almost never happens, but Nisha does keep a list. When she does find a breeder that seems good, she keeps a list of them. Carlin, any suggestions on super rapid growth with a puppy? That's a similar question that was asked earlier. I mean, they all grow really, really fast, so I don't know that it's necessarily, like, you wouldn't want to slow that down. Or I mean, they grow up whatever they need to grow at. Abram, what supplements, medications do you recommend for preventing troubles with hip dysplasia? A 1-year-old German Shepherd who occasionally bunny hops, and I don't want him to have troubles in the future. So if you go to this link here, I will get it for you, and you go under food and supplements, you can see them in there. But I would always double check with your vet before you start giving them any type of supplements, just to make sure. But those are the supplements that we use, Dasaquin and fish oil. Thinking of a third? No. Hello, Roms, to you too. Oh, the lights are, there's, I don't even, you guys are so snoozing. You don't even know that the lights are flashing for the super chats. Any suggestions on dealing with a shy German Shepherd? So, I mean, if they're legitimately just shy and not afraid, it's a difference, because like Lotus is afraid, and that's a very big difference to them just being kind of like unsure of, you know, maybe you've learned from watching them that they're just kind of unsure at first, at which point you just go really slow. I mean, it's kind of like, if you were shy, how would you do it? You know, you just start slow. If by shy you mean scared and reactive, that's a whole different thing. At which point we have a ton of videos on Lotus being scared and reactive, but the short answer is a lot of times, you know, we pick and choose our battles. There's certain things like, you know, the car is one that we battle because we need him to be okay with the car. So I'm constantly trying to find solutions and get him better with that and such. But other dogs is not one that I'm worried about investigating. You know, he doesn't need to have more friends. You know, he's fine. He's got Enzo. He's got Charlie down the street. He's good. You know, I don't feel like he is missing out on anything, and trying to get him introduced to another pup. I mean, yeah, it would have been great. You know, the reason he's good with Charlie is because he met Charlie like from day one, and we didn't know that he was going to be like this. You know, in retrospect, if I could go back in time and tell myself, I would have him play with the next door neighbor dog, Gus, even though he, the reason we didn't was because of shots and stuff. But Charlie came after he had gotten all his shots, so he was fine there. Charlie came several weeks later. And even though we know, like, Gus has all his shots, it was still just one of those things we were just like, oh, we'd just rather wait till he has them. Why take the risk? It's just not worth it. Had we known that he was going to be like this, we would have taken the risk because it would have been very beneficial for him to be on good terms with the neighbor dog, obviously. But otherwise, like, I'm not going to try to get him to become friends with another dog. So it just kind of depends on what your battle is there. Talia, if you guys got a third dog, would it be a German Shepherd and a female? Possibly, and honestly, Lotus was supposed to be a female, and then Nisha saw him and was like, he needs me, which turns out he really did. So that's how we ended up with 2 males. Let's see, I have 3 dogs, it's a lot. I'm sure it is. Lotus has a really hard life. He is sleeping there. That's the thing. See, and that's what's kind of nice about these live streams is you get to see him. I mean, for the most part, he's pretty chill. And, he loves to cuddle. He loves to be near us. He can be more independent. He will go sometimes just like go lay in another room for some reason. But if he's going to be in that room, like, he's perfectly fine with cuddling and everything. Whereas Enzo always wants to be near you, but he doesn't necessarily want to cuddle. So he's not going to go lay in another room. It's very, like, if Enzo is laying in a different room, I actually will go look for him because I'm actually concerned. Like, I'll try not to make any noise because I'm fine with it and I don't want him to think he has to come. But it's so rare that it makes me think something might be wrong. With Lotus, he'll sometimes just, like, if I'm in the office working, he might just, like, go in the living room or something. But if he's in there, like I said, he wants to cuddle. He wants to be cuddle bug, where Enzo does not really want to be cuddle bug. You see Lotus out and about where he's out in the world, which he is afraid of everything out there, so he is way more on edge when he's outside. Should I get a German Shepherd when I'm older, you think, as my mom is scared of dogs? And are they worth buying? I mean, I would definitely say they're worth it, but, if your mom's afraid of them, then, of dogs, then that's going to be something that really you got to talk with her more about. Could you briefly go over the way you suggest to give water to big breed dogs after a walk run? Thank you. So yeah, actually the pups and I were filming this morning. We have a summertime tips video that's probably going to go up tomorrow, assuming I can film the outro in this weather. But they can have stomach flip issues, so a lot of times in our videos you might see that we use elevated bowls. We do that because Enzo's really big, and elevated bowls are not actually the greatest thing for them. However, with us, I would rather make it less pressure on his joints. You'll notice that most of the time Lotus's bowl is just on the ground. You really have to be careful. Think about, like, as a human, how you can't do exercise after eating or drinking too much because you might get a cramp. It's sort of like that, except their stomach will flip and they will die within minutes. So, like, it is extremely serious, and I have heard the worst stories from people who they know about this, and it's still just such a fast, it happens so fast that even knowing it, there was nothing they could do about it. So we are super cautious about this, even with water. So generally, when we go to the park or we go on a hike, I usually don't give them water till we get back to the car. In the winter, it's cold enough to where I've taken water and they're just like, they're not really that interested in it. A lot of times we'll go to the park and we'll get back to the car and they'll barely take a drink just because they're not really that thirsty. In the summertime, they're plenty thirsty, but the most I'll go is at most maybe 45 minutes to an hour, usually because it's just too warm anyways. And when I give them water, I put it on the ground. Sometimes I'll give it in the back of the FJ if I have to for safety reasons. Sometimes it's just, you know, once you get back to the car, you're around other people, and i.e. Lotus, so I will put him in the back and let him drink that way, which I don't like doing, but, you know, I kind of take the safety of traffic and everything as a concern, but I will limit, sorry, I thought I saw something on Enzo. I will limit how much they get. So, like, if you've seen our bowls in the basement or in the house, they're much larger. The bowls I use at the car and when we're out at the park and stuff are small. And that's because I don't want them drinking that much. And like I said, it's very rare that we'll stop in the middle of like a park trip or something. If we're doing a bunch of fetch, which is extremely rare, or if we're on a really long, like hour plus long hike, I will. But again, you know, it's on the ground, it's not too much. Just enough to give them a little hydration. I don't need them drinking up a bunch or anything. But yeah, that's pretty much where that comes from. How do I stop my German Shepherd puppy from biting? So this has been asked several times, and the better explanation is you need to watch the video that Robert Cabral. He did an interview on our channel, and he answered this question in ways that, you know, it's just way better to watch his explanation. The video is in the chat. If you just go up a little bit farther, it's up there. Or if you just go to our YouTube channel and you search like Robert, if you just search the word Robert, the name Robert, it'll pop up. I can probably put it back in the chat. Robert Cabral, if you don't know, is a trainer. We actually even partner with him through training. So like if you want to do online training, there's a link below you can do. But that's the link to the video. And, you know, he explains a lot of the psychology around why they're biting. And I think that makes a big difference in how you will go about it. Let them drink from my water bottle. What are you doing? You got a meeting or something? No, we don't need to go back to the corner. Oh my gosh, it's not doing anything out there. Lotus is not afraid. He thinks you are afraid, and he is protecting you. So, funny thing is, one, Lotus is actually afraid, but, you know, we've done tests. The reason I can confidently say that he is fear reactive and he is not aggressive is because we've done tests where I'll walk him past other dogs, he'll react. Nisha will walk him past other dogs, he'll react. Then we'll bring in a stranger, which is usually just like a family member, somebody that he's never really met, and they'll walk him past the dog park and he is silent, doesn't make a peep, in fact just tries to pull them away. Like with us, not only is he reactive, but he'll want to like react towards them as almost like, and that's what makes you think like, oh, it's a sign of aggression. It's really not. It's really just fight or flight. And when he's with the stranger, i.e., you know, family member or whatever, it's flight. He does not bark, he does not make a peep, and he tries to just pull away. Like if the leash were to let go, he would just leave them for dead. He doesn't care about them. Whereas with us, he's not going to leave us. You know, he is actually trying to protect. Problem is, he's trying to protect us from things that aren't afraid, that he doesn't need to. He's like the allergy dog, you know, getting all excited over something he doesn't need to. Roms, thank you for the nice comments. If they're sick and don't want to drink, then some ice cubes in the water bowl with water. Almost all love ice cubes. Have to drink some to better catch them. So, yeah, just be careful with the ice cubes. Don't, you know, it's fine if you want to give them ice cubes. It's like a little treat or whatever. Like if they're not drinking and you need them to. Don't do that when they're hot though, because ice cubes aren't good. They're not good for humans, honestly, either. But they make the body think that it's colder than it is, so then the body doesn't work as hard to cool them down, which you definitely need to be doing. Let's see. Alexis, I tried to get my dog to drink more, but since I feed him raw, he does get a percent of water out of his raw food. So he drinks little water throughout the day, but here in Arizona, it's hot. He's swimming in it. Yeah, I mean, if you have water, I can't speak for every dog, but generally speaking, if they're thirsty, they'll get it. Now, what I will say is sometimes convenience can be a factor. Um, you know, it's rare that we shut our door at night. And Enzo, from the time he's been out of his crate at night, has always been able to leave the room and go get a drink. And he would occasionally do it, but not that often or whatever. And I don't remember why, but I don't know. I honestly don't remember why, but one night I put the water bowl in our bedroom at night. And I kept doing it since then, because what we found is that they both will get up and drink in the middle of the night now, and they never would before. It's because, I guess it's kind of like a similar thing. Like if I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm thirsty, it's kind of like, oh, I'm thirsty, but I'm not thirsty enough to actually wake up and go to the kitchen and get a drink. But if I had one right here, I'd probably take a drink. And I think it's that kind of thing. So the only thing I would say is, make it as easy as possible for them to have access to water. If you're actually worried about it, have it in every room and constantly be changing out, so make sure it's fresh, not all like dust covered and stuff. And then really at that point, I think they'll drink if they're thirsty. But obviously, if you think it's an issue, certainly ask your vet, and keep an eye, especially in Arizona. Let's see, Nicole, what is the most interesting place you have taken the fur babies? Enzo actually went on a road trip with us. We took him down to Nashville, went to a bunch of places. I've also done a lot of stuff with Enzo, like indoors. Like I said, we used to go downtown and we would do crazy things, like there could be like concerts going on, like little mini concerts or something on like Fountain Square, and we'd like go right in the middle of it. I've had him down in like shopping centers before, where I have him like sit and like you can see people walking around him and stuff. So I've done a lot of stuff like that with Enzo. Obviously, I can't really do that with Lotus. So Lotus has kind of shifted my perspective to where we're looking for like more exciting places to hike and stuff. So we've done like some parks that I didn't even know existed. That's really been. It's not so much that it's necessarily interesting per se. It's more just like realizing how many cool parks and hiking trails and stuff that I never would have known about had it not been for Lotus's fear. And there are plenty of times where I want to make the effort to expose him to other things, so we're not always trying to get away from everybody. Oh, lights are flashing again, boys, for super chat. But there's also times where I'm not trying to put him in a situation. I'm trying to avoid that, to give him that relaxing, just like go out and have a good positive experience on a trail or at a park. So it's really made me try every new park and trail that I can find, and we found some really cool ones because of that. So let's see, super chat from Trinity. My dog is shy to the fact that it is dangerous if anyone other than the family and her pack get near her. If anyone other than her family and her pack get near. Okay, so yeah, that could be. So really, it just kind of, you may need to talk to a trainer and figure out if it's. Now, don't sit on Enzo. Poor Enzo. Like I said, we did a lot of testing to determine whether or not it was fear reactive or aggressive reactive. So if you can figure out which one it is, then you can do similar things like we do with Lotus. If it's an aggressive reactive, that's a little bit harder, and I'm not going to say you can't fix that, but it's, from what my understanding is, it's one of those things that you probably are just going to have to find ways to work around it, i.e. avoid it. Even Lotus's, which is fear-based, is fixable technically, you know, because fear can be overcome. But I mean, you've seen how much struggle we go with, so you know, we kind of pick and choose our battles with that. Certain things that I'm willing to put in the effort because I think it's that important. Other things where it's like, you know what, he really doesn't need to be able to, you know, go into every store or go into, you know, he goes in the stores, he gets in the, you know, there's certain things we need him to be able to do, but then there's other things where it's like, it's not really, we're not going to stress him over it. Let's see, does it ever get annoying on the live streams when you just don't want to get dog questions and just want normal questions? Just curious. No, I mean, there's really, that's kind of what the whole channel's about. So, you know, I've been making these videos for 2 years. If I didn't love talking about it and talking about them and everything, then probably wouldn't still be doing it. So, no, I mean, it doesn't really bother me, so. Now, when somebody asks a question that I literally just answered, but no. Let's see, Dennis. Yo, I just got a German Shepherd pup, and I was wrong on how chill he would be. How could I get him to stop nipping? I've got kiddos and don't want to have to rehome my boy because he's rough and only 7 weeks. Well, first of all, 7 weeks is, you should not have gotten a pup that young. The breeder should not have let you have him that young. But once again, I'm going to put the video with Robert in the chat, and you need to watch the portion, especially on the biting. But I will say that, you know, puppies bite. It's just what they do. They're not biting because they're mean or anything. They're biting because that's the only way they can communicate. And I'm not saying that'll make you feel better when it happens, but I think it'll make you understand that they're not doing it because they're mean or they're aggressive or anything. It's just, they just got to learn the boundaries. Same reason babies will bite or scratch or anything else, you know, they just don't know yet. You know, and if you've watched some of the other videos, you'll know that I do not take kindly to people giving up on pups that they just got because of difficulties. So I am refraining from saying things that I feel, but I will just say that, you know, he's only 7 weeks old. You shouldn't even have had him that young. So I don't know how long you've had them, but it can't be very long. And if it's already if I can't fix this, then I'm going to have to rehome them, I think you need to readjust your perspective on what a puppy is going to be like in life. I mean, there's going to be things that you have to work on. And it shouldn't always be, if I can't fix this, I'm just going to get rid of them. So no, so we don't get rid. No. I'd say that's probably the number one comment I get, like, back is like, you know, I'm okay with your video, but just so you know, like, if it comes down to it, if I have to move from my family, then I will get rid of the dog. And it's like, I don't think you people realize you think I'm like exaggerating or I'm not being serious, that I will choose living in my car or living under a bridge before getting rid of them. And if you think I won't, you have not been paying attention. Let's see. Did you do all your own training? No. We used Off-leash Canine, and as of now, we also partner with Robert Cabral, which is linked below if you want to do online. So if you want to do kind of like your own training, but, you know, with help from professional, you can do that, or you can sign up with like a Off-leash type of place. Let's see. Mark, we are getting the storms now. You can have them, because Lotus does not want them anymore. Did you ever boot train? I don't know what that means. I mean, I know generally what boot training means, but like I don't know what, like we didn't send him anywhere, if that's what you mean. Hello to you, Lynette. Sandra, I think Lotus wants to type. Yeah, probably. You got something to say? They want to know. Let's see. Thank you, bro. And yeah, I know he's just a little wild. Yeah, I just don't want to get rid of him. He's already my buddy and whatnot. He's made a lot of improvements. Well, I'm glad he's making a lot of improvements. So yeah, you just got to be patient and watch the video and listen to what Robert has to say. Did Enzo and Lotus grow up to look exactly how you thought they would compared to what they look like as a puppy? I don't know that we really had any expectation of what they would look like. Lotus's color changed a lot. If you saw the thumbnail, he was a lot darker. Enzo didn't change. Lotus changed way more drastically than Lotus did, for sure. Let's see. No, Dennis, I don't think you're a bad person. I just it's just a hot button thing for me. Let's see, Patty, I have a 10-year-old German Shepherd male. Is now 3 months old. Oh, and now a 3-month-old. I have to keep them separate for the most part because the puppy keeps trying to bite the older puppy's legs. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so that's common. Lotus used to do that to Enzo. Used to drive me nuts because, you know, Enzo wouldn't do anything about it. So I was really worried that he was going to, like, bite it, like, actually hurt him or a tendon or something. I think that's really a normal behavior, and I used to fight it a lot, but honestly, and I'm not saying unsupervised, but supervised, I let it kind of go a little bit more as time went on, and Enzo let him know when it was too much, basically. And I found out that if I let Enzo take care of himself, Enzo taught him what was acceptable and what wasn't. I'm not saying that I don't still break him up on occasion, especially when Lotus was younger, if I think it's getting to be too much. But yeah, it's one of those things. I didn't know that either until witnessing it. So it's one of those things that, they just kind of go for the cheap shots. I mean, he'll do it all the time. I mean, if Enzo has a toy and Lotus wants it, the first thing Lotus does is go for the leg. He's like, well, that's fine. I'll just go for your leg. You got to defend it, which means you got to drop the toy, and then I'll grab the toy and run away. Let's see. Buddy, it's not even raining out. It's okay. This is still a vast improvement. Beautiful doggos, by the way. Thank you, Dennis. Yep, like I said, Dennis, I don't think you're a bad person. I think you probably just meant it as a general statement, but I take that stuff very serious. Let's see. Katana, I left my pup at 9 months old for a 1-year tour overseas. Had him since he was 6 weeks. You think he'll remember Dad? I'll be home in 4 months. I think he will. There seems to be debate on Team Enzo versus Team Lotus. What you got to say? You say you don't care. Okay. Phil, hey Will, so glad to catch you and the pups. Is the audio super quiet or is it just my TV? No, it's our audio. We had a ton of audio issues at the beginning, so I'm using the microphone that is in the laptop, which is why I'm trying to lean closer to it, but I keep getting pushed farther and farther away, and then some ears get in my way, and it just kind of muffles it, and yeah. Yes, Mark, biting and mouthing get confused often. let's see. All right. Well, I think I didn't even realize how long this has been going, pups. It's been going for a long time with so many issues in the beginning. I saw somewhere somebody said about working line and show line. I feel like we actually have a video on that if you search it on our channel. Enzo is saying, do you all see my ID? Yeah. I had a cat that I had to leave at my dad's house when I was deployed. Every time I came home, she went nuts. So yes, your dog is, yeah, I'm sure they'll go crazy when you get home. All right, you boys gonna say goodbye? Go outside, see that it's not raining. Sometimes he needs a little reminder. All right, well, appreciate you guys all stopping by, and we'll see you guys on the next video, right? Yeah. I think pup cam died. Forgot to turn it off. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's okay. It's all right. You'll be all right. It'll be okay. Gonna be okay. All right. Well, we'll see you later, guys. Say bye and go potty. Yeah. Let's go out and go potty. Come on. We'll get them birdies.